Welcome to 2023. I mean, it's a new year, and we hope all your dreams come true. My name is Damlola Obushaki, and welcome to Today in the News. Here on Today in the News, we read and give in depth analysis on some of the stories making waves across Nigeria. And this morning, I'll be starting with Vanguard. Vanguard is leading with 2023 Atiku'll Tinubu kick as Obasanjo endorses Peter Obi, declares the last 7 years have been hell on earth, says Emilio Kan, wrong mentality for Nigeria's leadership, tells youths Awalokon. Obasanjo's endorsement of Obi worthless, that's coming from Tinubu. It doesn't reflect the wishes of Nigeria that, according to Atiku'll campaign, it has killed Atiku's chances, says Kiyamo. It's a clarion call to other statesmen and Nigerians that, according to Labour Party, we are not surprised. Oshuntokun is saying that. You can see that on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. And here in the business, we have calls for forex reforms spread as transactions rise 9% to $34 billion. Naira depreciates by 6.1% to 461.5 Naira per dollar. MPC members want more restrictions, supply boosting measures. You can see that inside Vanguard newspaper. Now on page 8, we have petrol shortage. Depot owners adamant sell petrol at over 200 naira per litre. Independent marketers put prices at 300 naira to 450 naira per litre. Transport fares, food prices remain high. NMDPRA absent in filling stations. On page 9, lawyers petitions Attorney General Federation over plot to arrest CBN Governor Emefiele. 2023, year of golden opportunities for Nigeria. Christian Association of Nigeria is saying that. 2023, great year for Nigerians. That's coming from Okoa. Southern Kaduna attacks. Buhari urged to deploy more troops. Article will reopen Nigeria's border. That's coming from TAMBUWAL. Also on page 9, oil reform. Serap sues governors over failure to account for 625 billion naira. Nigeria needs more prayers, political will for greatness. That's coming from Anglican Primate. You can see that on page 8. Some balloons will deflate in 2023. Adeboye is saying that. You can see that on page 10. Stories above on page 29. Chokoto, gunmen kill PDP ward chairman and elder brother. Gunmen raise Ebubiagu commander's house, kill wife. You can see that on page 6. Lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, the aviation world. Aviation sector issues in 2022, expectations for 2023. You can see that story on page 23 of the Vanguard newspaper. Now, away from there, we move to The Guardian. The Guardian is leading with APC. PDP denounce Obasanjo's letter endorsing Obi. As letter says, Labour Party candidate has edge over Atiku'll, Tinubu, others. APC, PCC, PTs Obi over worthless ratification. Obasanjo can't win polling units award in Abeokuta for Obi. Former president merely expressing personal opinion, says PDP. You can see that on page 6. On page 7, group calls for caution in choice of new Ohanese president general. Knox, as 12-year-old 12.850 billion naira constitution review investment fails. You can see that on page 3. New Year messages. Nigeria is too sophisticated to be tricked with religion. That's coming from Akeredolu, and you can see that on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Now, away from there, let's move straight to the Nation newspaper. The Nation this morning is leading with Obasanjo under fire for endorsing the Labour Party candidate Obi. APC, PDP, Akinyemi, Bugaje, Nog as not ex-president. He attempted to extend his tenure by changing the constitution. We have to stand up to be in that respect. So for me, I can't find his endorsement trustworthy. There's a quote from Bugaje. And there are more quotes here, but you can get that on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. On page 4, AUGF report 17.877 million barrels of crude oil exported without records. Accuses AGF of paying 73 billion naira without approval. Bill confirmed as a Marshall. Kwara Revenue Agency saves 3.9 billion naira. You can see that on page 6. Stories above. Let's ensure peaceful elections. Governors tell Nigerians in 2023 New Year messages. You can see that on page 6. What 2023 will bring by Adeboye Oyedepo and Olukoya. You can see that on page 7. Lastly, on the nation, 18 die in New Year Day accident. You can see that on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break for the analysis. Welcome back. If you're just joining me, this is Today the News on Vanguard Live. I'm Jamlola Ogunshaki. Joining me this morning is Mr. Aliu Muhammad. He's the CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. Good morning.
Good morning, Damilola. Happy New Year.
Yes, wish you the same. I mean, it's 2023. What's your hope for Nigeria in 2023?
I wouldn't say, I don't want to say anything about Nigeria. Let's just pray for ourselves.
Okay.
You see, the truth of the matter is that those who, in quotes, own Nigeria, they are not wishing Nigeria well. If they do, why would anybody allow fuel scarcity into the new year? If you are wishing us well, why? Damilola, I'm asking a question. Why should we suffer looking for petrol during Christmas? A party that is seeking the votes of the people in the next election. If we are sensible Nigerians, we should know what to do with that party. I am telling you. Because people couldn't go out. A lot of people couldn't go out. Those who don't have cars sat at home because they had to think about the cost of transportation. From Ikeja to Okpebi, which used to be 100 naira by Marwa, was 300 naira. We can't continue to live like this. You are punishing the people from whom you are seeking a mandate in an election that is coming up next year. Does it make sense at all? Who are the people advising this government? So we can only wish ourselves a happy new year. Having said that, happy new year. And my wish is better expressed in Yoruba language because I may be from Edo State, but I was born in Yoruba land. The Yorubas have this saying that Bagunyo sórí ewé ká sí ẹ̀bà, ká sí ọbẹ̀ sínú èpo ẹ̀pà ẹni máa yó á yó. God himself will satisfy us. He won't starve us. If we continue to look at the government, we will be disappointed. As the saying goes in Nigeria that we are always praying, I want to join those who pray now to say that God will put us in a better situation in Nigeria.
Now, talking about petrol, let's just use that to talk about the fact that the Nigerian Mystery Man Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority last week shot private depot, including Rain Oil and some others, for selling the regulated products for, in essence of 200 naira per litre. But of course, other people also, other private sector, they remain adamant, selling petrol over 148 naira per litre official depot price to the independent oil marketers nationwide. What do you think about this?
This scarcity started early November. We all thought it was a joke. It was something that will fizzle out within a week. And gradually, it was with us all through November. When we were approaching Christmas, we all felt that the end will come. The annoying thing is that no government official came out to tell us exactly what was happening. How can you have a government? How can you have a system where nobody will come out to explain what is happening to the people? To explain a situation that looks like a punishment for the people, except one unacceptable explanation which came from an official of the NNPC that some bad roads in Lagos were responsible for the inadequate transportation of petrol. petroleum products to other parts of Nigeria. That to me sounds very stupid. Lagos itself was suffering from petrol scarcity. Why would any sensible human being come out to say that some bad roads were responsible for the inadequate transportation of fuel to other parts of Lagos? Then again, you have the Petroleum Regulation Authority that is in charge of the so-called deregulation of the downstream sector. If you deregulate, you don't have to fix the price. That is one major fault in this deregulation. The regulation means that the government is leaving that aspect for the downstream sector operators to determine the price of the products that they want to sell to Nigerians. But the truth of the matter is that the so-called deregulation was not a true deregulation. Government still controls the price. Why? Because they cannot afford to fully deregulate, because we don't have refineries. If you want to fully deregulate, you must leave room for competition. You must have refineries, either private or government owned, that will be refining petroleum products, crude oil in Nigeria. Then, if the government wishes, it can allow for the importation of refined products. By doing that, a level playing field has been created in the downstream sector. Then you can fully deregulate and leave the prices of petroleum products to the forces of demand and supply. But here, the only company as at today that is importing fuel is NNPC. The other companies have tactically withdrawn because they couldn't get the subsidy that they are supposed to get from importation of products from government. The subsidy is just hanging there. So it's only an NPC. So how can government fully come out to explain to us that it has deregulated the downstream sector? If you are deregulating, create a level playing field. Let people be able to refine crude oil and sell products in Nigeria. Allow those who want to import to continue to import. If you do that, you are going to see a sharp drop in the rate of the naira to the dollar, because that will be in a lesser demand, because you have an option. Consumers have an option to patronize locally refined petroleum products or to patronize those who are importing petroleum products. Even the private operators too have a choice to either buy their products from those who are refining, from those refineries that are working in Nigeria, and those who have chosen to import. If you do that, then you have left those products, those oil products, in the hands of forces of demand and supply. But we don't have a refinery, and you are talking about deregulation. Can that work? It can't work. It's like you have just decided to create chaos in that sector in the name of deregulation, and you still sit in Aso Rock and dictate the cost of the pump prices of petroleum products. To me, it doesn't make sense.
So is it that until we get refineries before those prices will go down? Because we have Imo State, they sold for as high as 450 naira, while Lagos is selling for 300 naira.
It is a simple economics. The only way out of the government have tried paying subsidy. It is not working. They are already tired of paying subsidy. Payment of subsidy is also affecting the government. And the best way is to have private modular refineries. All those refineries can be built within 12 months. They can become operational within. All you just need to do is to allocate crude oil to them through the companies that are selling crude oil in Nigeria, and that company is the NNPC. So if you think you want to truly deregulate, that is the best way to go. Even the so-called Dangote refinery, I don't see it as a solution to the importation of fuel. Because all over the world, people have moved away from building giant refineries that produce 600 and what thousand of petroleum products per day. No, people are going the way of modular refineries, strategically 10, 20, 25,000 barrels per day, strategically located in different parts of the country and linked by pipes. Everything will be done without any need to transport petroleum products by road. That is what the world is moving towards. Now you said you are expecting that importation of fuel will stop in Nigeria once Dangote refinery takes off. Fine, when it takes off, I don't know how that will happen, because one day or the other, that same refinery will be shut down for turnaround maintenance. Which other option do you have? No. You have none, because you just have one giant refinery that has been turned down for servicing. And that is why the world is moving towards modular refineries. Not all these big giant. We have refinery in Port Harcourt, we have in Kaduna, we have where again? About 4 if we worry. All of them are not working, and they still vote money for those refineries. How are we spending the votes for the refineries that are not working? That's another question we must ask ourselves.
All right, let's move away from that and talk about this one. Now, Obasanjo, former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, endorsed Peter Obi. And of course, there have been mixed reactions about the endorsement. But what do you think about it?
Yeah, anybody can react. The truth of the matter is that Obasanjo, as a former, in fact, two-time president of Nigeria, formerly a military president, a military head of state, and a civilian president 2 times, have the right to choose any candidate that he wants to support. It is his right. It is there in the Constitution. I have the right to choose a candidate that I want to support. The fact that he was president of Nigeria doesn't deny him of that right. The fact that he's an elder statesman does not decide, stop him from exercising that right. So all those who are criticizing him are just doing so for political reasons. They should come out, all the parties. If Obasanjo has said this, let them come out and tell us what they want to do. Nigerians want to know how their lives will be bettered in the new year and the coming years. They want to know. You see, you don't campaign by abusing people because they have made a choice. No, they should concentrate more on what they want to do, on telling the people what they want to do. All I have had in the last how many months, 1 or 2 months, is one attack on this person, Nduka Bagbena of this day, attack on Arise TV, attack on whatever TV. Let people come out and tell us what they want to do. Nigerians are suffering. Up till this morning, some of us still had calls from people who want money as little as 1,000. For how long are we going to continue like this? For how long? People are suffering. The people are suffering. Some people couldn't eat. I want to thank some of the churches that went ahead to prepare food for their members. Some churches did that. And to me, that was strategic. That was highly considerate of them. I thank them for doing that. Some politicians, I expect them to provide special money for even those who support them. Christmas, New Year, give them 20, 30,000. Now people keep bombarding. We don't have limitless funds. You understand what I'm saying? So those who have deep pockets can as well provide succor for the people. Somebody went to an hospital in Lagos, somewhere in Agege. For whatever reason, I was told that the hospital is in shambles. May we not fall sick. and require urgent medical attention in Nigeria. That's the fear that I always have now. Anybody can fall sick anytime. So how do you attend to it when you have almost next to nothing in most of our hospitals? Must you go abroad to treat yourself? Even the president of Nigeria goes abroad to treat himself. The so-called presidential candidates, they go abroad to treat themselves. Why can't we think of what the kind of hospital that we attend abroad? Why can't we put them up here as government hospitals? Why can't we develop our primary health care centers and bring them up to the standard of other primary health care centers in the United Kingdom? We keep complaining that our doctors are running abroad when they don't have equipment to practice what they have been trained for. They will have to go out. They are not well paid. They don't have equipment to work with, and you expect them to stay. Somebody who is ambitious will not stay. So this is part of the agenda of those who are campaigning to be president of Nigeria. The healthcare sector is in shambles. The economy is in shambles. Go to lawsuits and just, as a reporter, as a journalist, go there and stay for 2 hours. You will be shocked what you will see. People coming in, they can't access treatment at the emergency wards there. And nurses will come out to treat patients right inside their cars if it is an emergency. I have seen it. Go there and verify. Why should we get to that level? And we continue to deceive ourselves that we are the giant of Africa. That cannot happen in a country as small as Ghana. I'm not saying that those countries where they have good medical are perfect. No, let us have a semblance of what they have. Is it too much to demand for the people? I don't think it is too much. We keep talking about people, what they're reacting to what Obasanjo have said, reacting. You are not looking at the suffering of the people. On my way here, I passed through Ikeja under the bridge. You needed to see the way my car was bombarded. Happy New Year's, Happy New Year's. Miscreants looking for food because people have not been coming out to give them arms. So they all trooped onto the road. And it is a great security risk. So politicians should come out and tell us the way forward. They should tell us what they want to do. I am tired of politicians attacking themselves. I am tired of reading criticisms against Obasanjo or anybody that has come out genuinely to express his wishes.
But what do you think about some of the things he said? I mean, he described Nigeria as, if not as, hell on earth for the past 7 years. He even said Emilokon is a wrong mentality.
Well, that is his opinion. That is the man's opinion. They should, by responding to his statement, they should come out and tell us the meaning of Emilokon. They should let us know what program that Emilokon have for the people of this country. They should come out and tell us what program, what plans Emilokon have for the people of Nigeria. I don't believe in attacking personalities. Obasanjo, like I said, can come out and express his opinion at any time, just like you and I are free to express. It is entrenched in Section 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria under fundamental human rights. The man have the right to say anything so far his statements does not amount to slander or libel in any way. And so, I mean, the truth of the matter is that I insist that Obasanjo is entitled to his opinions. So we shouldn't abuse him. I don't think we should abuse him. They should come out with a better plan. All these ones, shouts of Nigeria will be a good country when I come, Nigeria will be this. How? What are the plans?
All right, talking about how, well, Governor Aminu Tambuwal has said that, Atiku'll Abubakar, that's one of the presidential candidates, will reopen borders if elected in 2023.
The borders are opened. Which one is he going to open? And the borders are already open, and the borders have always been opened in the north, even when the ones in the south were closed or they were shut down. So I open the borders. How? I don't understand. You see, people talk. I don't know those who advise our politicians. The borders are opened. They are not shut. Except he want to tell us that he's going to legalize importation of goods. If you legalize importation of goods, that means all our industries will die. You are not going to promote any locally produced products in Nigeria. That's what it means. People should sit down and think. This 2023 election is not a joke. The way they are talking, it is like they are joking. They are not serious. Why the borders are not shut? Damilola, I don't know if you are aware of the fact that the borders are shut. So to me, that's a statement that I won't take seriously. The borders are not shut. Why will Atiku'll open the borders that are not shut? They should sit down and think and come up with the new plans of what they want to do for Nigeria. That statement to me is a joke, because you can't open borders that are already open, or you can't open borders that are not shut. You see, people don't think. They just go on the stage and talk anyhow. You are going to open borders. The borders are not shut. They were shut during the COVID-19 shutdown to avoid people coming into Nigeria illegally. You know the implications there. And gradually the borders have been opened. The final border that was opened in Nigeria is in Lagos, is the Idiroko border. And it was publicized when that border was opened. So the article cannot open borders that are not shut. They should come up with viable and serious economic plans for Nigeria.
All right, lastly, Akeredolu have said, Nigerians should vote for competent leader in 2023. And of course, we Nigerians will be saying we want a good president and all that in 2023. So how do we know a good president? What are the factors?
Damilola, I have a very personal opinion without reference to any of the political gladiators that we have in Nigeria today. And I want to be very blunt. The person that I think can solve the problem of Nigeria is a technocrat. That is apolitical. If you look at the problems we have a lot of problems. We need somebody that is not a politician, somebody that will look at the entire gamut of the problems of Nigeria holistically and come up with practical and practicable solutions. But because all these politicians, once they get there, there will be influences from people. Before the elections, they've already committed themselves to certain people. When I get there, you will be Minister of Finance. When I get there, you will be Minister of External Affairs. When I get there, I will make you Governor of Central Bank. They have committed themselves to so many people. So you need a technocrat, somebody that will sit down and look at the entire gamut of the problems of Nigeria and come up with practical solutions to them. For me, Aliu Mohammed Olurotimi, I do not have confidence in the caliber of politicians that are jostling to be the leaders of Nigeria in 2023. I am telling you, that is the truth. We need a technocrat, somebody that will not look at the eyes or attempt to seek favors or attempt to satisfy a section of the country to the detriment of the other sections. No. But all this I don't want to mention names, all these people that I am seeing, there will be a lot of influences on them that would be irresistible, because as they are campaigning now, they are committing themselves to a certain group of people. They have committed themselves to a lot of groups. If we become the president, we will zone the governor of central bank to you. That is not what we want. We want practical solution. I want to be able to go to an hospital and in 1 hour I am attended to. I want to be able to buy petrol without queuing for how many days. I want to be able to run my family and feed them from my sweat. A lot of young men have graduated for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. They can't get jobs. They have become so frustrated that they now want to go abroad. By all means, in the process, a lot of them are dead because they have to pass through the Mediterranean Sea, go by roading through the desert and all that, go take all sorts of, in the process, they get killed. Look at the exchange rate of the naira to the dollar. How many people can travel? In those days, it used to be 1 to 1 or less than 1. I worked in First Bank immediately I left secondary school. And fortunately, I was put in the foreign exchange department. So I know that naira was stronger against the dollar then. So what happened? Why can't we as a nation ensure that we have viable industries? Industries are shutting down and their compounds have been turned to churches. And you say there is no job. The industries that have left Nigeria are functioning in Ghana. Dunlop, Michelin, Bacha, they are functioning well in Ghana. Not that I was told, I have gone there, I have seen their factories. So what happened? If it is power supply, that a government can come and make sure that it is stable, that government will not be forgotten in Nigeria. Do you know how much this same President Obasanjo squandered on electricity? Do you know how much Yaradua squandered on electricity? Do you know how much this government is spending on electricity? Still, what do we get? Darkness. So somebody must come and let us know what is happening in that sector of the economy. People will tell us that some importers of generators are the saboteurs. But we have a sitting government. Can anybody be more powerful than the government? Mm-hmm. So we have a lot of problems, Damilola, and we need somebody that will not be a politician. I don't know who that person will be. I don't want to mention the name of anybody, but we need somebody that will sit down and look at our problems proactively and come up with solutions. Otherwise, this so-called Japa syndrome will continue to be with us.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's end this with Mr. and Mrs. And the first person speaking today is Mr. Mr. is wishing Mrs. a happy new year.
Yes.
And Mrs. replied, same to you. Please let me finish my prayer. May this new year bring us joy and happiness. And may God turn all side chicks into real chickens.
That's a dangerous prayer. For Mr. It is a dangerous prayer.
A very dangerous one. Thank you, Mr. Ali Mohammed, for joining us this morning.
You are most welcome.
Because he is now the CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. He just reviewed and analyzed some of the stories on the front pages with us this morning. And of course, to get more of our top stories, you can follow us on all our social media platforms showing on your screen on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. Happy New Year and enjoy the rest of your holidays. I'm Damilola Okushaki.